let's see who's here. We actually can't see who's here.
Thank you for joining our live signing for our upcoming book, My Therapist Says, Advice You Should Probably Not Follow. We are going to be going through some of your questions
right now, which we have. Do you want to do a live feed while I do this?
I don't have that link.
No, I have this. You go to the live feed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we're okay with visual. Can everyone see it? Okay, cool. We just had someone confirm that they can see us. So hi, I'm Lola Tash.
And I'm Nicole Argiris.
And welcome to our live signing of our book coming out October 6th, My Therapist Says, Advice You Should Probably Not Follow. So today we're going to be signing a few copies for you guys, asking you a few questions, answering a few questions for you guys.
Maybe asking some too.
Yeah, maybe asking a lot. And we're so excited for all of you guys joining us. Whoever's here, your questions are going to be fed to us through here. So go ahead and let us begin.
Away.
So the first question is, what was the writing process like for this book? So the writing process was pretty quick, actually. We wrote it in about the skeleton of the book in about 2 weeks, and then it took probably a few months back and forth with the editors to edit it. And yeah, it was a really pleasant process. We had a great editing team and a great publishing house.
Yeah, it was really collaborative. We would, work on one chapter and then send it to each other, and then the other one would work on the other chapter, and we would pass notes back and forth. It was really a great process. And
half our team is not here, but they were also very prevalent in the process of writing this book. My sisters Nora and Gina. So shout out
to them. Unfortunately, they can't be here because they are.
You guys get stuck with us.
We're here.
Okay, so we're gonna. My pen is a little finicky. So second question: what's the best advice to give someone who's thinking about therapy? I'm gonna ask this one to you while I sign.
I think you should, see a few therapists. See who you have a good relationship with. Don't just jump right into it. Make sure that you have a connection. You feel like you can trust them and be open with them, because this is going to be someone that you're telling your entire life to. So make sure that you feel extremely comfortable.
Okay, now I'll get the next one. Who came up with the idea to turn My Therapist Says into a blog, and can we expect more content from it in the future? By blog, do you mean Instagram page?
I think they mean our website, where we post articles about current events, fashion, lifestyle, everything. So yeah, it was just kind of natural for us. We always wanted to write articles, and I don't know who it was. I think it was more of a joint decision of all of us. So yeah.
Okay, so I'll get the next question. What meme best sums up 2020 so far? I actually think you should get this one.
Any dumpster fire meme. Yeah.
Oh, for me, what meme best sums up 2020? Apologies for our technical difficulties.
Someone's coming in.
For me, I guess any meme that sort of encapsulates how much of a horrifying, traumatizing year this was, with everything. And each month, I think the alien ones where it's like, okay, guys, we're up next. Each month, it tops itself with the scary factor.
July, what you got?
I know. July?
No, but that was the meme of July.
I know you just released this one, but any plans for a second book? Can't wait to read this. Actually, we do have plans for a follow-up book, so we're not going to say too much about it. But yeah, writing this one was such a pleasant process, and we were surprised at how much thoughts we had to put out there. So, and since we've got to talk to our fans more, and to the people who bought the book, they've asked a few more questions that we didn't answer here and we didn't really think about. So now we're kind of looking at it from a perspective of, we've already written this one and we have more experience, and we kind of have more confidence with what we want to say, and a bit more life experience, I think, would be a fair answer.
Mm-hmm.
You can send me. Okay. Why do you think your memes resonate with so many people? Okay, now you can answer.
I think because we're going through the same things that all of our followers are going through, they really resonate with us. And we have this community where everyone can, see that other people are going through it in the comments. We open up the conversation in our DMs and talk to our followers. And the open community really allows us to see that so many other people are going through the exact same things that we're going through. So we continue to talk about them.
It's gonna be really hard to put away. Where do you find the best memes, or do you guys make them at this point?
We've always made our own memes from the start. We've done original content from the beginning. That's actually how we got really big in the beginning. And now we do a little bit of source content as well. So it's a little bit of both, but we love to do original content and we'll continue to do so.
I apologize for my horrifying penmanship. A good writer, I am not, aesthetically.
Gotta practice my autograph.
Lola, how have you had to overcome your crippling shyness with the release of this book and the publicity you're currently getting? How have I had to overcome my crippling? I think I'm still overcoming it. I still have, my hands shaking, my anxiety, the nerves. I don't think you ever really fully overcome it, but the reason why we made our account public and revealed people behind the account was so we combat that crippling shyness and that anxiety and all the feelings that we're feeling, that we're kind of dealing with day to day, and that we're memeing in a humorous way, but issues that are, really quite serious and quite consuming of our personal lives and our day-to-day self-awareness and self-being. So yeah, I think it's just something we deal with every day, and it's nothing you can overcome instantaneously. Nicole, you aspire to go to grad school for clinical psych. Do you one day hope to be the therapist? And my therapist says.
So I think I'm focusing now fully on my therapist says. This book, I gave out a lot of unqualified advice. Yes, I did go to psych for undergrad, but right after I graduated, I started My Therapist Says with Lola, and it just blew up, and I decided I wanted to focus on this.
What advice do you have for someone seeking a therapist? Are there tips and tricks for picking a good one? I don't think it's so here's a good tip for picking a therapist. I think it's whoever you find an affinity with and someone you find a closeness with and somebody you can actually tell your problems to, because this is a time where you're probably going to be the most vulnerable you've ever been, unless it's with a family member or a loved one. But this person, I guess for the time that you're seeing them, becomes your family member or becomes the closest person to you, because they're the ones responsible for analyzing you and helping you and supporting you and just overall being there for you completely, wholly, and without judgment. What's your origin story and what do you see for you guys in the future?
So we actually started the account as a way for us to keep in touch. We started posting memes about our everyday lives, our dates, our friends. We were just always making memes in the group chat, and we decided to bring it to Instagram. And then we grew really quickly because we were creating original content, and we were posted by bigger meme accounts like the Fat Jewish or Betches, and we grew really quickly from that and decided to turn it into a business at about 100K. Haven't looked back since.
What do you see for you guys in the future? We have a lot of exciting things coming up actually pretty soon. So we're really excited to share that with you guys when we're allowed to share it. I think people do that. They're like, we have something coming up, but then they can't tell you. So
no, we actually
can't. We are actually allowed. But yeah, we're really excited what we have coming up, and we're working really hard. Even I think this quarantine has been so helpful to us to just really buckle down and get to work.
Our efforts in one place.
And yeah, so that's something we're seeing a lot more expansion of My Therapist Says, the brand, of our marketing company, another book, a potential visual project that you will get to know more about. So stay tuned. Whose decision was it to remain anonymous when first creating this super popular account? I guess I'll take this one while you sign. Sure. You pay attention to signing this. So I guess the decision was the fact that we just wanted the account to be more of an entity rather than our faces behind it. Like, it was never our intention to promote ourselves or to be like, where my therapist says. It was more of just a platform and a place for people to confide with us, and so we can confide with them and to find an affinity within people like ourselves who are struggling with these issues every day and still trying to kind of not necessarily make fun of it, but humorize it so you can find a way to go on with your day without constantly victimizing yourself and not being able to find the answer for why you feel the way you feel.
So yeah, to answer the question, who was it? It was both of our decisions from the very beginning.
Actually, a statement. Thank you for keeping our lives real, Jen. Thank you. From Westbury, New York.
Thank you, Jen.
Could you tell me that I am sane, Ada? Ada, you're sane. Okay, I'm gonna refresh because I don't think I am. I want to ask you guys something, but my anxiety is making it hard to decide, so I'll just say I love the shit out of you both.
Thank you.
Thanks. Question for both of you. As best friends, what's something you love about the other? You can answer this one first while I sign.
That's a really hard question.
Why is it still hard?
That took you a minute.
Do we love each other?
I love that we can like work really well together. You know, whenever one of us is going through something hard, the other one can pick up the slack. And I love that it's like a family business, basically. I'm basically one of the Tash sisters, and we can all just, you know, work like when someone else is lacking something, the other person can jump in for them. And I think that is great. I love working with a best friend.
I guess for me would be, oh God, this is so difficult. Hold on, I'm really just peeking at teeth here. I would say it's the fact that the closeness, that we could literally tell each other everything and anything, and there's no judgment and there's no kind of stalling in anything. Like, if she has a problem or if I'm having a problem, we really just quickly get to it. And I know people always say like, don't do business with a friend or something, but I can't imagine, like with my sisters and Nicole, I can't imagine doing it with anyone else because we know each other's personalities through and through. So we literally know each other just by one word. We'll know mood shift. So I think that's really rare in a partnership, and I think it's really helpful.
We communicate telepathically at this point.
It's actually kind of scary. Everyone hates us for it. Actually, everyone hates us
Everyone's
for other
like,
things. But
what are you guys laughing at? And we're just like, we just told each other a joke.
Our lives. We're laughing at our sad lives. What has been the most rewarding part of this journey?
I think it's just seeing all the people that have a community, and they've reached out to us saying that you've helped us get through something really hard. You know, just even if it's a momentary distraction, your memes have helped me in the hardest times. We've had people that were sick, people that just got back from the army, so many people who were depressed or have anxiety and they now feel normalized. It's just great when people reach out and say that we've helped them, even if it's just for a few minutes a day. It really is rewarding.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I think people who write into us and who tell us how our account has shaped their life or changed it in any small way, I think that's really rewarding and just humbling to us, because I don't think we ever went into it with the intention of becoming anything more than a confession page for ourselves, and that it's grown so much and so many people related to it. I think we're really grateful for that. Do you have any advice on finding a publisher? I'd love to hear the story about how this book came about. For us, we actually had a little tumultuous journey with a publisher and getting this book to print, but ultimately we're so grateful with how it turned out. Like, I really believe in fate and destiny and how things kind of fall into place on their own. But I think ours wasn't a traditional way of like sending out a bunch of copies and seeing who resonates with our book and responds to it. For us, we already sort of had the platform, so it was more finding what we want to say and what we want to write about. Mm-hmm. But I think typically it's just find something honest that you want to write about, something that you feel passionate about, and that you feel passionate that you want to tell the story. And I think you'll find a publisher who believes in you and who believes in your story and the words you're trying to say and what you're trying to put out there.
Yeah, I think it's so important to find the right publisher and make sure that they, allow you to say what
The
you
creative
want to
freedom.
say. Yeah, and that they don't try to change your voice and you stick to what you want to say. I think that's the most important thing with finding a publisher for sure.
Yeah. Any advice for a girl going into her 20s? What to expect, what not to expect? You can get this one.
Well, that's a loaded question.
Okay, first do the advice.
20s is like the years where you like really find yourself, find out who you are. I know they say that's high school, but I feel like 20s you're, finding your job, you're finding maybe a long-term relationship instead of just like your high school, whatever. I think there's a lot going on at once. It's important to like learn how to balance your career and your relationship and your friends and everything, because you have all this freedom when you enter into your 20s. So I think it's all about finding your balance.
What to expect, what not to expect?
You should expect probably a few heartbreaks, a lot of anxiety, a lot of like ramen late nights.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah, just a lot of anxiety. It's a lot of not knowing what's coming up. So I think what to expect is you won't know what to expect.
Yeah. I guess it's all up in the air. It's very mercurial. I hate myself.
Shout out to the astrology section in our book.
Maybe we'll read a little surprise. Oh my God, we should.
Yeah.
What is something you hesitated about putting in this book and why? Okay, I can answer this one. I personally really hesitated with putting a lot of things in the relationship chapter because I knew that our ex-boyfriends and ex-paramours might read this and right away be like, that's about me, that's about me. So I think putting yourself in that vulnerable position of somebody analyzing you and somebody who knows you really well, so when they read it, they'll know it's about them. I think that part was really nerve-wracking for me because I don't want them to think that they have this giant, thing over you, this hold that you needed to put out in words and give advice to someone else because you lived through this moment. But I thought that it was important that the lesson I learned and the lessons I keep learning were in there for other people, no matter who was reading this and judging me. Ex-boyfriends, beware.
Yeah, I think for me it was when we were working on the astrology chapter, it was hard not to put our own
biases
and be
God,
like, oh my God, I hate any like Gemini, I hate any Capricorn.
You're a Gemini. That was the first thing that came to your mind.
Self-hatred.
It's actually true. Self-loathing. Another chapter we love in the book.
Gemini men and Gemini women though are very different. So
no, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Oh, really? Really? Nicole's a Gemini. I'm a Virgo. It's weird that Beyonce and I share a birthday, September 4th. Not like I haven't said this before to any single person.
Didn't include that in the book ever. Not
next page, not this.
Always like, can we put this in caps lock? And I'm like, no, calm down.
Beyonce's like, don't associate.
She's like,
keep my
name
out of your mouth.
Associated with this narrative.
If you had a chance to collaborate with a makeup brand, would you?
Absolutely. We are very into beauty and makeup, so I think that would be a seamless collaboration.
Yeah. So let's check it. If you could have any superpower, what would it be? Why? I'm gonna do this one first while you sign.
Okay.
My superpower would be invisibility. Like I could just become invisible, like when Harry Potter puts on that cloak, because I could then like sneak into people's like conversations and listen to what they're saying about me. So I answered why. Why? Because I'm very nosy and curious.
Mine would be for the same reason. I'm super nosy and curious, but my superpower would be that I could read people's minds.
Oh, that's even better, because then why do you even need to be
Yeah.
invisible and hear what they're saying? But then you can
Yeah.
spy on them.
I know, but like maybe you don't want to spy on them.
No, I would. I love it. I'm a peeping Tom. I absolutely want to spy on them.
Like, I don't know. I feel like it would
Oh, that's a hard one to choose. Now you ruined it for me. Now I don't know if I want that.
I had the better answer, I think.
Well, no, but I want to see them doing it, the action that they're not supposed to be doing, instead of just reading about it in their mind.
I know, but maybe
Wait,
they would
but
actually just.
Well, when you're reading them out, do you get
Yeah.
to see it? Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of technicalities with that. Like, if I'm reading their mind, do I get to see the image, or do I just get to hear the thought because that's boring? It's like reading a book. Well, no, no, it's not boring reading a book.
Don't say that. Rewind.
How have you two been holding up during this pandemic? As you can see, not
No.
Any fun stories from the last 6 months? You can go first.
From the last 6 months, I mean, we haven't really been doing much other than like.
I have.
Yeah, this one's a little
Wild card.
Yeah, no, I haven't really been doing much. I don't know, like, what my crazy story would be. Like,
Your birthday?
I was in quarantine.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
I don't know. Do you have any?
Yeah, well, nothing I would like want to share probably. But staying safe, wearing a mask, and
We are very pro mask.
yeah, we were like the first half of quarantine, we were in the midst of just like deeply, heavily editing this book. So
Yeah, and Lola didn't even leave her apartment.
shut up.
Lola didn't leave her apartment once, like not even to get like fresh air for like 2 minutes. And I was like actually really concerned about her mental health. I'm like, it was like 4 months, and she's like, I'm not gonna leave.
Coronavirus.
You can maybe just go outside and breathe.
Back then, we didn't know the severity of it, so I wasn't about to take any chances. I was like, you get your corona.
Okay, but I was being careful too. But
I'm not scared.
just not hold up.
Your friendship, but that's actually true. Just keep scrolling down. What suggestions or tips could you give for starting a new business from home?
I think you have to treat it as if you are in an office, create a schedule for yourself, wake up at kind of a decent hour, and just take away the like entertainment distractions from your workspace. So it's extremely hard because we work on Instagram. So sometimes I'll get distracted and just scrolling, and it's important to create boundaries is basically what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I think similar advice. Don't get distracted. Find a rhythm that works for you, because I'm typically a person who works really well in the morning, but Nicole's like creativity wakes up towards the later half of the night. So it just depends on when you work best. You shouldn't follow someone else's schedule. That's something I've learned, because I used to like chastise myself if I would be up too late or if I wouldn't be up early enough. And then I realized you just kind of have to find your rhythm and balance and go with the flow. How did you guys format this book? Is it considered self-help? I need all the help. I think that's that one. We formatted it in 4 sections. So family, love, career, and mental health. So it kind of covers every part of those sections. So familial dynamics, relationships, love and work balance, career trajectories, how to deal with an annoying boss, pretty much literally anything you can think of and anything we thought of, we covered it, and we divided in those sections and then subsections within those sections. And is it considered self-help? I would say it's considered part self-help, part satire self-help, because I think in the end you should laugh at the fact that we're suffering.
And definitely the parts where our therapist interjects are actual self-help, and where we're giving the bad advice, and then she's correcting us, being like, no, don't do that.
I can't spell my own name. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, no one's getting this one. This one's an X-nay. Lola, do you still act? I know it's a pandemic, but curious if we'll see you on the big screen anytime soon. I do still act. I'm getting back into it after we were working on this book and a few My Therapist Says projects, but yeah, I'm very excited and obviously still theatrical as ever. Do you have any ambitions outside of My Therapist Says, maybe branching off to new businesses? I think we kind of answered this earlier in this signing. We are branching off into a lot of different avenues with my therapist says. So just look out for that. And we're very excited.
This book being one of them.
Yeah. You are watching a shining example of us branching out. Are you guys naturally funny, or does that just come across because the memes are so great? You can answer that. If my personality hasn't answered it for you.
Yeah, exactly. I think we have our like own weird sense of humor that I think a lot of people actually ended up relating to, which was really surprising when we first started the account. We did it mostly for us, as an outlet for us, and then we were like surprised that so many other people are making the same jokes and laughing at themselves in the exact same way that we are.
What is your biggest accomplishment?
This book.
I think it's everything what my therapist says. I think it's the fact that we did this kind of blindly not knowing what it was going to turn into. And we got to go to Switzerland for a Gucci watch panel. We got to create a book. We got to create a capsule collection of athleisure. We've got to do a lot of things that we didn't really think that we would get to do at our age.
Mm-hmm.
And we're only getting to do more. So becoming unexpected entrepreneurs for us has been the most exciting thing, and getting to work with our family. So having this be like a family thing is an accomplishment, that you get to include everyone that you love and that you want to support and that supports you. That for us, I think, is the biggest accomplishment.
Mm-hmm. And having the audience also that you can go into whatever, you can like segue into whatever field you want to with this audience.
Yeah, their support is also a really big accomplishment. Having our followers, it's such a blessing.
Yeah, and super rewarding having them reach out to us and tell them that we're helping them.
I want to ask you guys something, but my anxiety is making it hard to decide. So I'll just say I love the show. Did we already read that? Okay. Great. Do you two cook? What's your favorite thing to make, or your favorite quarantine?
Lola, do you cook?
Yeah, I do. It's my favorite meal to make.
Cereal.
Bread with butter. I like to get a bit of white bread, make it nice and soft, put some melted salted butter on it, slather it on, layer a second layer of butter, and just dive in.
I love to cook, especially during quarantine. I've been cooking probably more than ever. It's funny because I never really enjoyed cooking. Like in university, I was like full out.
You made me so many yummy the broccoli chicken.
No, but that was after university.
No, that was when last time I came to visit you. You made me that broccoli chicken with the Alfredo sauce.
Yeah, but that was like still very basic.
That's not basic.
It was like
fried chicken.
It was like Alfredo sauce from like the jar, like already prepared. I wasn't like from scratch or anything.
Would you make it from scratch?
Yeah. But yeah, now I love it, and I love to try new recipes.
Same.
She's going all out with the bread and the butter. She's
a little
like,
salt, pinch of pepper.
Should I double butter it today or what?
Or is it a single butter day if we're going light? Are either of you in relationships? Any bad, good advice for relationships? Parentheses, good, but bad, but good. Or do you mean like tell you need to cheat on your boyfriend or something? I'm confused. I'm genuinely confused.
I'm not sure what they're asking exactly, but
sorry, answer the question.
Sorry, I was just reading something as well. But yeah, I'm in a relationship, been in a relationship for just over 2 years now, and it's going good. Shout out. My relationship advice is basically just learn how to balance. You should never like put your whole like focus your whole life on this one person. You have to, have your balance, have your work life. You have to have your friends separate. You have to have your own life, and you shouldn't, become that person.
That's really good advice. That's a good advice.
What's your advice?
My advice is that I'm going to read an excerpt from the book right now, because we're going to take, while you sign, I'm going to read a little excerpt of a random page I picked. So let's see. Ooh, I'm feeling exciting. Oh, okay. Mercury is in retrograde. I'm texting my ex. The astrology chapter, that actually I just randomly opened that. I didn't find that. On a scale of 1 to introducing your dog as a Gemini vegetarian, how obsessed are you with astrology?
So we have all these, show them for a second. We have all these like meme pages throughout that are like text memes before we start the chapter and also integrated with the chapter.
So yeah, we got to do a bit of visual and a little bit of intellectual.
Text memes.
Okay. Chapter 3. Blame it on the stars. This is a sub-chapter within the astrology chapter. Since the dawn of time, people have needed to figure out why people are the way they are. And for the majority, that is, why are people so fucking annoying? Yes, there is psychology to help us out with this, and I am a shining example of the wonder of it. But more importantly, there's astrology. Seriously, it is considered an honorary social science to some. Though some also tell you to put a crystal on your hand to heal a broken bone, but I'll choose to look past that and be open-minded for once. Astrology is one of those things to which some people either attribute every factor that makes up a person or just find it to be as annoying and ridiculous as healing crystals and full moon rituals. Example, you like a guy and everything seems to be going okay, but all of a sudden he stops texting as frequently and randomly takes a trip to Vegas. Most people would say he's a douche, but an astrology enthusiast would say he's an Aquarius. See? Science. So that is an opening example of the chapter, and I shall continue. Real astrology is so much more than just what day you were born, aka your sun sign. All 12 planets and signs go into making up your personality. People say that they don't believe in astrology because those daily horoscopes from magazines / newspapers / apps don't ever match them. And that's true, as those are rarely accurate, targeting the masses and made to be as relatable as possible. The study of astrology is an ancient science, so it's hard to say whether if it's completely inaccurate, but basing all your hopes on it is also ridiculous because so many factors make up a person: nature versus nurture, their experiences, their failures, their upbringing, etc. I suggest having fun with astrology and not taking it too seriously. Investing yourself obsessively in anything is dangerous and stupid, so don't do it. This is coming from a girl who religiously avoids anyone who happens to be a Gemini, so take your advice with a grain of salt. I'm not about to culturally appropriate and put on a Gatsby-esque gem turban while reading out how the planets aligned on the date of your birth. I have, however, broken down the main characteristics, planets, and generalizations of each sign. Somewhere, Neil deGrasse Tyson just felt a shiver run up his spine. The people who don't know me well know there's little I love more than generalizing. I can't read today. Don't worry, I have advised an astrologer, so my prejudices against signs who wrong me are excluded here, for the most part. My therapist has absolutely no comment on this chapter. So this is the one chapter in which our therapist did not want to be a part of.
I do not want to be a part of this narrative.
So we break it down like this: the 4 elements. So air, earth, fire, and water. And then the sun signs. So those are your core values and traits. And as anyone mildly into astrology would know, you have your moon sign, your sun sign, your rising, your Venus, your Mars, all those planets represent something. We're obviously not astrology experts, but we did consult one when writing this chapter. So we're gonna answer a few more questions, and then maybe if you guys have a question about a certain sign, put it in here and we will read your sign.
Or if you have a question about a certain chapter, we can answer that as well.
Yes. Okay. So I shall read more questions. Talk about the corresponding notebook that's available for purchase as well. How did that come about? What corresponding notebook?
I think they mean the coloring book that is available.
Okay, because I saw a notebook.
It's a coloring book.
So we have an adult coloring book. It's really exciting. It's beautiful. The images are so fun. And as somebody who colors exclusively outside the lines because I have 0 artistic skills, it's fun.
It's really fun, and we base them off of memes that we've made in the past. And so you're basically coloring in memes, and it really helps to reduce anxiety, especially right now during kind of quarantine. You can use this to like take your mind off of the stresses of 2020. And I think it's coming, you can buy it as a package with this book as well. don't hold me on that, but
no, you can. We're really in the know here. This is a question for you first. What's your favorite chapter in the book?
So my favorite chapter is probably the career chapter. It gives you so much good advice, like how to decide if you should quit your job, how to find your career path. No, that's the first one that came into your head, because I think about that daily. No, I'm kidding. Or how to deal with being like a female in a male-dominated workplace. How to deal with a coworker that's annoying and is trying to backstab you. How to deal with your annoying boss who won't shut the
Did you just look at me when you said that? I see.
Yes. Lola's my season. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I love that chapter. It has a lot of great advice in it. What's your favorite chapter?
My favorite chapter would be either the mental health chapter or the confidence chapter, where it kind of talks about self-confidence and self-improvement, not comparing yourself to others, but sort of improving your general well-being, thereby improving your whole life. So I think those two chapters are integral in leading a successful life, and leading a happy life, and leading a mentally healthy life. And obviously my therapist says is so in tune with mental health. So that is something we're very proud of. And on my favorite chapter. Any thoughts on starting a YouTube channel? I think you two are hilarious. No, but my sister actually has a really cool YouTube channel. She just got her 100,000 subscribers button somewhere there. It's like a cool silver plaque. So I'm
Shout
jealous.
out Nora.
I'm gonna steal it. Yeah, and her channel is Noraverse, at Noraverse.
She does gaming videos
and cooking.
like,
She does cool.
Yeah.
She made a giant Hershey's kiss. It's like that big, but cool. Do you two? Okay, I already read that. Okay, I'm gonna refresh the questions. Any plans for a book tour when COVID is over? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And something else that we're actually going to incorporate with our mental health initiative, My Therapist Helps. So look out for that.
Stay tuned.
Hopefully COVID allows us.
Yeah, and it's something that we were planning before COVID, and then COVID came up and messed up all of our plans.
God, COVID, you really had to do that.
How dare you, the audacity. But I'm really excited about it, so stay tuned.
Yeah. And just, this is actually a part of the next question. Any tips for reducing anxiety? I feel like mental health is the word of the year. It really is. And I think this is just to bounce off of a question we got asked earlier. The reason why we started this account, and this is something that's so important to us, was that back then nobody was talking about mental health or anxiety or any of that. Like really, it kind of just became popular in the last 2 years and almost trendy. But this was something we started talking about in 2014, 2015, before it was normalized, I guess. And we wanted to destigmatize it. So now we have My Therapist Helps, a mental health initiative, which is kind of for tips and tricks on how to deal with anxiety, which was the question we were just asked. That page has a lot of tips and tricks and has a lot of kind of humorous breakdowns and things to make you laugh in between. So that's a page we started to help you guys and help ourselves whenever we're really feeling a moment of doubt, a moment of worry, a moment of angst. We go there and we kind of look at the breathing exercises. We look at the thought controlling exercises. We look at the meditative exercises, and we look at advice from actual therapists who we've promote on there. So you can find their pages. So yeah, it's very interactive and incorporating all facets of mental health and anxiety and, you know, all the things around it. That was a very convoluted way of answering that question. Like I really didn't need to do that, but
I got where you're going with it.
That was such a mouthful. Which memes are the most special / meaningful to you? Answer that.
Probably all the ones about anxiety, because I can relate to them. And yeah, all the mental health memes are really the most meaningful to me, because I can see that other people who may not have talked about it before are talking about it. They're tagging their friends, you know, maybe saying like it's almost like a call for help a little bit, that they can tag their friends and be like, oh my God, this is so me, but they could do it in a way where it's not awkward for them. So I think those ones are the most meaningful to me. What about you?
No, I guess those. Honestly, for me, it's the funny ones. Like those get me, and I remember them for years. Like I'll send an old one from like 3 years ago to her, and she'll be like, "We posted that," and I'm like,
but it's a classic.
Yeah, yeah. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you trust each other and why? It honestly varies from like a 2 to a 12 with her. Days when she wakes up, there's a lot of shadiness going on there and murkiness, so I wouldn't like throw everything in that basket. But then there's days when I'm like, girl, you carry me home.
Yeah, likewise. But honestly, we probably have told each other our entire lives at this point, so it's like there's no really going back.
We always said we can't stop being friends, if only because she's the person who's going to delete my search history when I die.
Yeah, and my text message history with her where I'm telling her my entire life.
Oh God. Okay, next question. If my phone ever works properly.
Technical difficulties.
I'm gonna amuse you guys in between. Was there anything that surprised you during the research process for this book?
So we talked to a therapist for this book. So sometimes I actually thought I was giving good advice, and then the therapist would tell me, no, that's actually completely wrong. So I think that was kind of surprising. Like I know some advice is like out there, but sometimes I thought it was actual good advice. And then the therapist would be like, no, sit down.
For me, the process of this book was really anthropological. So for the dating chapter, I decided to really just immerse myself in the dating scene and the dating culture. So I went on a lot of dates, like a lot of first dates. And the guys, like I really told them straight up, I was like, we're writing a book right now and I'm doing a lot of research, and I just want to see like the best advice I could give. So the whole immersive experience of writing the book from like a first person perspective was really fun, and I got to take a lot of notes on those dates. And I don't feel guilty because it wasn't like I was being disingenuous during those dates, but I think that was the part that surprised me the most, how open people were to helping me when I told them I was doing this for the book and why I was putting myself out there and being so open. So I think that was really exciting, but it wasn't like like a wild dating life. It was like maybe 2 weeks of dates or first dates, but not like every day. So it wasn't that many dates, but I was like really into it. I was like, yes,
not that
wild nights. And then, well, we'll see if the second dates happen. You have to read the book. By the advice I gave you.
Stay tuned for the second book.
Yeah. The guys are reading this, they're like, there was no second date. She's lying.
Dates you should probably not go on.
I guess I'll get the next one. What has been the hardest part of the book writing process? The hardest part of the book writing process was the late nights. I'm pretty sure I gave myself an ulcer. And by pretty sure, I mean I was actually diagnosed with an ulcer. So I got that. That was like genuinely physically hard.
Good times.
That was 3 months of my life I'll never get back, because I decided to like take the Kerouac approach to writing a book and drink a lot of coffee and not sleep and torture myself for absolutely no reason. Yeah, I guess leaving things, like thinking that I'm going to mull them over and digest them and marinate on them, and then leaving them till the last minute, that also was probably exhausting. Just learning the process of writing a book and then handing it in for the deadline and then getting notes and then sending it in again. The whole process of learning how to be collaborative and cohesive with your editor back and forth was a learning curve, and definitely very hard.
I think the editing process was definitely harder for me than the writing process, because I was almost like so stuck with what I had initially written, and then you have your editor saying, trying to change your mind a little bit, and it was for the better. So it's sometimes hard with that back and forth. The editing process is very long and tedious, so I would say that is the hardest part for sure.
We're gonna answer our last question now, because it's that time.
Yeah.
The last question is, where did the term "my therapist says" come from? It was honestly us just talking to each other nonstop, validating bad advice that we were giving each other. So we'd be like, "Oh, my therapist said you should do this," and my therapist said you should do that. And then it wasn't like no therapist actually said this. This was literally just us lying to each other and giving each other bad advice to see what would happen.
Our therapist was like, we do not want to be a part of this or
Yeah.
associated with
No,
this.
when our therapist heard that, they were like, "What's wrong with you? Like, you can't ever leave this office." So that's where the phrase came from, and it stuck. So shout out to our beautiful, loving, and supportive therapists.
Shout out. We love you.
So we are going to sign off. I'm not sure how, but I think it will happen. The technical people will handle that. But thank you so much for tuning in. Buy a signed copy from Premier Collectibles and our coloring book in a package. And you get to enjoy this beautiful, gorgeous,
do a little
stunning
flip through so people can see what it's like inside. And
it will be available everywhere where you can purchase a book October 6th. And on
Less
Amazon.
than a week. Get excited, guys.
So excited.
Bye.
Bye.